Hello there, welcome to another video. This video is going to recap for you the codes and conventions of the thriller/horror genre, both subject terminology as far as I'm concerned, often used interchangeably. Can I also remind you that in the assignment you should be using all of these points, not just some of them, otherwise you might risk not getting the distinction criteria, which asks for comprehensive detail, not just some detail. Okay, so thriller horror genre films could be any number, so I've put a couple of relatively famous examples there: Aliens, The Descent, Blair Witch Project. Again, those people who are into this genre will have their own particular favourites and will perhaps look at films that they think are proper horror films and ones that they think arguably are more mainstream and perhaps not quite as traditional. The purpose is to entertain, but perhaps by fear, people who enjoy the thrill and the excitement that this genre offers them. This is called the gratification of escapism, where you are entertained by immersing yourself in a world that perhaps might not exist in your life, but that perhaps might entertain you by pretending that it does. Dark themes, perhaps, are frequent: abandoned houses, desolate, isolated buildings, locations or setting in the middle of nowhere, a forest, a desert, perhaps a rundown urban location, or sometimes even a school. Okay, cutaways of newspaper clippings, perhaps breaking news stories, are used to provide either some foreshadowing or some narrative backstory. Low-key lighting is used often, low-key being a lack of light, low light, not much light, used often to help enhance that fear of the unknown. If we can't see, we should be scared, and that's the premise of low-key lighting being used in the thriller horror genre. Sometimes linked to that, less is more. Not seeing the thing is scarier than seeing the thing. Perhaps look at Cloverfield, where we don't see the monster, if at all, until the very end. Things like Signs, you don't see the alien until you get a very quick glimpse of it underneath a door frame reflected back in a mirror. So perhaps not seeing the thing is sometimes just as scary. Okay, in fact, the Cloverfield franchise plays off on that theme in each of the various films. Okay, slow, long, lingering shots, long shot duration, perhaps to build suspense. The chase scenes, however, do use fast cutting, and that could be similar to the action sequence in an action genre film. But perhaps most famously does use fast cutting in the instance of a jump scare, where a long lingering shot with perhaps a slow heartbeat or some sort of non-diegetic humming will then be replaced very quickly and very suddenly with a jump scare where you do see the monster, and perhaps it may not even be the monster. It might be a false jump scare where you perhaps have two characters creeping around a corridor and they bump into each other, and it's played off as perhaps a humorous moment, but only after the jump scare has occurred. You were meant to be scared as a result of the two characters bumping into each other, perhaps by accident. Jurassic Park and the Velociraptors perhaps being a good example of that. I've mentioned dramatic and suspenseful non-diegetic soundtrack, perhaps a lot of humming, heartbeats, fuzzy kind of low drone noises, perhaps in the background, as almost subtle ambient non-diegetic music, and also the diegetic sounds, the ambient diegetic sounds that the characters can hear: dripping water, wolf howling perhaps in the background, anything that would be suggestive of a creepy atmosphere perhaps present in the location, to put us in the audience, put the audience members in the character's shoes and think, well, hold on, how would I feel if I was in their situation, surrounded by local lighting, not being able to see the thing that I'm supposed to be scared of, in anticipation of perhaps a jump scare that might happen any moment, and what can I hear as a result? Some risk and some evaluation may well be similar to the action genre. There is a very tried and tested recipe perhaps for a thriller/horror genre film, and as such they may well be repetitive perhaps. Perhaps the people who are interested in this genre may well be craving something new, and that's where you get a lot of remakes or American Western remakes of perhaps some Japanese horror films, where they might try and translate that over to a Western market by using some sort of unique selling point in that respect to maybe generate some degree of uniqueness in a field where many films will follow the same recipe. Okay. And that's it. I think that's the horror genre, so please use the entire video. Please make sure you've touched upon all of those things in full sentences. Please don't just bullet them the way I have. Write them up in full sentences, but still do use subject terminology in your answer. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video.